Hello folks, David here with another video. Thanks for watching. Thought I'd knock this one out very quickly while the glue's drying on the project that I'm busy filming, because I do recall back when I did the, I think it was the Tidy Up of the Games Room, I did say that I would do a product review on this thing. And seeing as how it's D&D related and there's all this stuff that's happening with Hasbro, Wizards of the Coast and all that kind of thing, I thought I may as well chime in with my point of view. Now, obviously the big drama at the moment is the fact that it looks as if everything to do with D&D is starting to go electronic, it's going online. The subscriptions and all that kind of thing, and a lot of content that had been free is now behind a paywall. Do I agree with it? No. Yes, I'm an old dinosaur, and the stuff that I talk about, generally speaking, is second edition AD&D rather than the current version. But besides that, this was a TTRPG, tabletop, not computer. Yes, I can appreciate that they are wanting to get new players in on the scene, and that's all absolutely brilliant. There's no problem with that. And yes, those younger people are more technically savvy and would probably prefer to be online rather than sitting around and associating with other people. Shock horror, I know what my own teenage boy's like. But going purely down that track doesn't seem right. And I'm going to tell you why. D&D was, after all, created as a role-playing game. It was a way for people to interact with each other and act out a character that wasn't necessarily themselves. Something fantastic, something that you've always wanted to do or be. A swashbuckler, an adventurer, a hero, or a villain. All that kind of thing is catered for. But it does rely on person-to-person interaction, not another screen in front of you. Now, yes, I do appreciate people can't always travel, they can't always get to a gaming group. Being able to interact with other people virtually is a good thing, and certainly, you know, it was probably a godsend to an awful lot of gamers back during the crisis of a few years ago where everybody was housebound. But all of the best role-playing is done when you are interacting with other people. It is my opinion, but I think you would probably be hard-pressed to be able to come up with some kind of concrete proof that no, it's actually just as good or even better doing it on other ends of a computer screen. Plus, as a friend of mine once said to me when we were getting into the big online computer games, the big group ones, you pay your subscription, yes, you come out with good memories, you do enjoy yourself, it's a way to pass the time, but at the end of the day, the game will go stale, it will die off, they will shut the servers down, and you've paid all of this money and you're left with nothing, realistically. You've got your memories, but that's it. If you keep role-playing games or war games on the tabletop, then even if, you know, you grow tired of it or anything like that, you've still got something you can hold in your hand. You can pop them on the mantelpiece and go, ha! That is, and it literally is, the first ever miniature that I ever bought back in the dim, distant past. So, all that being said, I am a big proponent of keeping D&D and role-playing games in general on the tabletop, interacting with people, but to get the best out of that kind of hobby, props are good. And one of those is what I am going to be reviewing. I did say I would review it, and it is this. I'll show you a photo so you can see it a little bit more clearly. But it is a pack of combat maps. Now, I got these not so long back. They are an official D&D product. They are by Wizards of the Coast. And it says that you get 20 poster size maps. Now, poster size is round about 1/2 metre by 3/4 metre. I'll leave conversions for my American viewers. You actually get 10 of them and they are double-sided, but they are really good quality. There's an awful lot of detail on them. There's an awful lot of stuff that leads to adventure ideas. I am really chuffed with them. Now, as you can see, with 20 maps, there's a massive variety of stuff that you can grab ideas from. There's indoors, there's outdoors, there's buildings, there's ruins, there's lava, there's ice. You've got a whole host of things with which to give you the spark of an idea to kick off a small couple of session adventures. And of course all of the maps are gridded out with 25mm base size grids, so to make combat easier, things like that. All good stuff. And of course if you're into skirmish games or anything like that, then one of these is an ideal substitute if you just want to throw something down on the table and use a completely different game system. Now I would have picked these up for about $40 New Zealand, which works out at about 20 quid sterling, or around about 30 US dollars. Now I don't know how things are in your guys' country, but over here that kind of money roughly equates to 2 movie tickets plus snacks, so about 3 hours worth of enjoyment. And what I can certainly tell you is that we have had at least 5 gaming sessions, around about 4 to 5 hours long each, using these. So I would definitely consider this to be a good investment. And not only that, because I did say that I would start talking more about adventure ideas and things like that, I will give you an idea of how these have actually been used in our game. Right, so for our D&D group we've actually got 2 DMs. I have been doing the bulk of it for many years, but one of the other subscribers to this channel also runs games and has been doing a campaign that we've been playing, and on occasion if he gets stuck for an idea he will ask me to sub back in, and that's all fine. It is after all a group activity. Now the difference between himself and me is that he likes to do an awful lot of prep beforehand, and that is all fine. I am more than happy to wing it if necessary. And let's face it, we are talking about players here who will go off script at the drop of a hat, and sometimes you do just need to wing it. So anyway, we did have a situation where we got about, I think it was half an hour into the game, and we exited the dungeon because things were not going according to plan. We needed to regroup, and he didn't have anything prepared for that, and he said, "Dad, can you do the honours?" So this is what I reached for, and all I basically did was open it up and have a look through the maps to see if there was anything there that could throw me an idea. And you know what? There's absolutely loads. I'll show you exactly what I took them through. This one was the map that I chose. When I refer to any of these maps, what I'll do is I'll lay them down and give you an actual photo of them. But the key thing that stuck out was the fact that we were outdoors, we were heading back to town, we were going to be travelling through the countryside. What could happen on the way? And the thing that struck me was those 3 grave markers. There's a kicking off point. I put a large tree next to it, there was the 3 graves, and there was a solitary figure attending one of the graves. And with a successful perception check they could see that it was a young orc. So there you have it. You've already got a couple of ingredients there for the hook to get your characters involved. Now as it turns out, he lives not too far away. The place where he lives, a small sort of farmstead, has been getting plagued by, let's call them, bandits, and in retribution for not paying their taxes they've been hanging people from the tree and they've been getting buried. Obviously our heroes take a little bit of an exception to that. So once he's recounted what's gone on, the heroes, who unfortunately happen to be King's Guard and are supposed to be upholding the law in these areas, get taken back to the farmstead to find out exactly what's been going on. Which leads us, and quite nicely, to map 2, the farmstead. Now as any DM will tell you, there is absolutely no problem whatsoever in just outright stealing ideas from other sources. And a farmstead under siege by bandits, that sounds like a Magnificent Seven scenario. Now during the course of their interaction with the people in and around the farmstead, they find out obviously far more of what has been going on, but they are introduced to the matriarch, Big Mary. Here's her. I'm pretty sure I've shown her in an earlier video, but I can't recall which one it was. But suffice to say, the reason why I got her painted up was because she was getting introduced in the next gaming session. Now, there's something about Mary she's a big lass. And it turns out that this young orc that they've been talking to is one of her sons. She is actually, well, one, first edition barbarian, and two, she's a half orc. Hence the reason why her son has come out the way that he did. Her daughter, his twin sister, came out looking more like her mom. Suffice it to say that Mary can look after herself. And all of this kind of stuff that went down happened while she was off visiting family. You know, the other half of the family, the green half. Suffice to say, she's none too pleased with what's been going on. In fact, miffed would be an understatement. Scary Mary, quite contrary. How does your garden grow?
I fertilise it with the crushed skulls and blood of my enemies.
Anyway, not to bore you with all the details, but the bandits returned and there may have been a slight amount of unpleasantness. However, it turns out that the bandits are not actually bandits as such. They are, well, members of an organised crime family. This whole area is under protection. However, an accord has been struck between the Capo di Capo and Mary that her territory is strictly off limits and she will deal with anything within those boundaries. These people have come in and, well, let's just say that there is a certain amount of payback that needs to be paid. So Mary drags the PCs off to meet the Capo di Capo in the nearby town. Q Map 3, lovely little citadel made for an excellent meeting hall, and let me tell you that when they realised that they were rocking up in Kingsguard uniform in the major stronghold, major fortified stronghold of a major crime family, there were potentially some squeaky bums. Now, it turns out that all of the unpleasantness that has happened back at the farmstead is actually to do with a new syndicate that has inserted itself into town and is being done without the Capo's knowledge. Mary is given the right to deal with things on her own terms. Q Map 4. And I've already shown you this one laid out for battle in a previous video, and it has been absolutely brilliant. There's a shed load of detail on there. Even things like the broken down cart, which I think they set on fire, all adds to it. It's all absolutely brilliant. If the PCs can see it there in front of them, they can make use of it. Am I going to spoil the ending? No, I'm not. But it does go to show that just by using these maps and having a quick look through them, it kicks off a huge amount of ideas. We've used them over a number of sessions. Ideas from one map led onto something on another map, and it is all meshed together absolutely brilliantly. There's nothing that has been brought down from the web in terms of a pre-written module or anything like that. It is all created off the cuff, and it has been done purely on the basis of those maps that were in front of me in that pack. I would heartily recommend that you get something like this if you are a DM to have in your arsenal, because sometimes you just never know when you need to pull something out of the bag or the folder in that case. Anyway, I am going to wind this video up there on the full understanding that I've probably rambled on about our gaming sessions for far too long. Hopefully, if any of you already have a map pack of this kind, it's given you some ideas on an adventure that you can hit your own players with. If you've enjoyed this content, please do hit the like and subscribe button, because there's plenty more videos to do. And otherwise, I will see you good folks next time. Toodle pip.